So original Part A can be expensive. One of the major things to have a base understanding is if you go into the hospital with just original Medicare, Part A and Part B, Part A services, you're going to pay the $1,676 deductible as of 2025. Again, one of the things that are going to affect these deductibles and costs, and they're going to go up every year, is the cost of living called COLA. This adjustment went up. So for the first 60 days that you're in the hospital, the Part A deductible covers those services. Now, sad to say, most people don't realize that when going into a hospital situation, you're going to have Part B services for outpatient. And what falls underneath outpatient is going to be these specialists that are going to come in typically and work on you while in the hospital. And I'm going to cover the cost of that here in a minute, but that's very important to understand because the $1,676 deductible does not seem like a lot of money. Now, consecutively, if you stay in a hospital stay beyond 60 days, you're going to have $419 per day for day 61 through 90. You're going to have $836 per day, what they call, in a second I'll explain, lifetime reserve days that you're going to pay up to 150 days. So lifetime reserve days are days that Medicare gives you, allocates beyond 90 days. So 91 beyond, you have 60 days of lifetime reserve days. So the total of that is 150. Well, each day after 91 days consecutively in a hospital, you're going to use up one of these reserve days. And so for every day that you use, if you were to go back out of the hospital after 60 days and go back into the hospital, you're going to, again, pay the deductible. And then if you, for some reason, stayed in the hospital up to 90 days and beyond, you're going to get into your lifetime reserve days. Once you've used these up, anything above and beyond 90 days and beyond, you're going to pay 100% of the cost for that hospital stay with original Medicare. So there's a lot of costs involved here, and I'm going to show you on this next screen why this can add up very quickly. So the deductible owed would be $1,676 for the first 60 days, 61 through 90. If you stay that long, you're going to pay $12,151 for those days, plus the $1,676. Days 91 through 150, which would mean you'd use up your lifetime reserve days. That would be $49,324. A total of, if you stay in the hospital, would be $63,151. So as you can tell, Medicare Part A can be catastrophic, can be extremely expensive. And typically, if you're just going into a situation where you're like, hey, Kelby, I'm not going to have major cost, well, I'm going to get into why Part B of Medicare can be expensive. And here's why Medicare Part B can be expensive in conjunction with a hospital stay or just having most services done by original Medicare is not going to be expensive because Medicare Part B, you're going to have a Part A or Part B premium of $185 for the standardized premium. You're going to meet this $257 annual deductible. And then you're going to pay a 20% fee for the billable rate. Now, where it gets expensive is when you add the Part A deductible for whatever year you're in, you have a deductible that's going to cover you day 1 through 60. Well, most services done in a hospital are done in day 1 through 60. Typically, to keep it simple, day 1 through 5 is most major catastrophic surgeries, heart surgery and things like that are going to happen within 5 days and they're going to have you out of the hospital. And so what happens within those days is you're going to have a 20% fee billed for the outpatient or Part B services that we talked about earlier. You're going to have this outpatient Part B 20% fee if you're on original Medicare. Well, if you take a specialist that comes in and cracks your chest open and you have $70,000 fee, you're going to have a $15,000 bill on top of your Part A deductible. So you can see here where Medicare Part A and Part B services can become extremely expensive. And I'm going to give you an example here in just a second. All right, so let's give this scenario that if you go into the hospital for 3 days, remember we're going to be paying the $1,676 in 2025 for day 1 through 60. So let's just say you stay 3 days, you're having a valve replacement procedure, and they're going to have you in the hospital for 3 days is what the projected time frame is. Let's say that valve replacement specialist, the heart surgeon comes in, they're going to bill Medicare $80,000. You're going to pay 20% of that, and so you're going to owe $16,000 for services done through Part B in the hospital, because this is a specialist that does not work for the hospital itself. You're going to pay the hospital $1,676. Now, during that surgery, you get out, you're recovering, things look like it's doing well, but all of a sudden you have malfunction with the heart valve or whatever they did. Now, all of a sudden they're going in to do exploratory surgery, which leads to some other catastrophic surgery, and you have a $175,000 cost that's billed through Medicare Part B by the specialists and surgeons, and you're paying 20% of that. I like to say this is where we get into this big thing that I often say, the big question mark on what exactly are you going to pay. It's going to be based on the billable rate billed through Part B services based on that 20% fee. And we're going to talk about here in just a second how to eliminate all that, how to eliminate your risk, how to not expose yourself to thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's why Medicare Part A and Part B can be extremely expensive. So guys, if you've been watching along the series so far, we've gone through 10 things that have happened historically with Medicare, and then we dove into just the original parts of Part A and Part B, why they can be extremely expensive. And as we dive into the other videos in this series, you're going to see me at the end point back to this slide each time. So what plans are available to you? We're going to take a look at all the different plans in the upcoming videos. Stay tuned. Again, if you need some additional information about the specifics of your situation, you can always call and schedule a time. And then if you click below, you can actually register for one of our Medicare Made Simple workshops. They're on-demand workshops or live workshops that I host. They're about an hour long, a deep dive into anything and everything you need to know about Medicare. It's a simplified way to be able to understand Medicare. And again, we're here to make your life easy by making Medicare simple.